ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, available in high definition, is coming to you from Boston, where, at the Fleet Center, the Democratic Party is gathering to select its presidential candidate. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, the conventional wisdom is this: the American pastime is not politics, it's baseball. And the local preoccupation is once again the Red Sox and the Yankees. Game 1 of the series, Fenway Friday. Both teams coming from behind at various points. Then in the ninth, in a tie game, Alex Rodriguez hitting a single against Keith Folk off the scoreboard in left. Yankees win the ball game 8-7. Then yesterday, Francis Arroyo drills A-Rod with that pitch. A-Rod and Veritek get into it. Then the bench is empty, the bullpen's empty, and there are skirmishes all around the lot. Finally, ninth inning, Mariano Rivera tried to save a win. Couldn't do it. Bill Miller with this big home run and a spectacular comeback for the Red Sox. The series is even at a game apiece. We have just enjoyed the national anthem here at Fenway Park, and now we have a melding of the ball game and the Democratic National Convention, which starts here tomorrow. John Kerry, and I have it on good authority that he's going to get the nomination. He is throwing out the ceremonial first pitch to a veteran of the war in Afghanistan, Will Pommier, a veteran and a much decorated veteran from Afghanistan, who is also a native of Woburn, just outside Boston. So John Kerry makes his first appearance here in Boston, not at the convention at the Fleet Center, but right here at Fenway Park, prior to the Yankees and Red Sox rubber match of the 3-game series. And this is ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, not convention coverage. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by McDonald's. Tonight, the New York Yankees atop the American League East, and the Boston Red Sox second place in the East. And we are at venerable Fenway Park. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Rick Sutcliffe. Joe Morgan, my partner for 15 years, is at Cooperstown for the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies today, and we know he's having a great time. We send all of our congratulations to all those guys up there, but he's missing a lot of electricity, a lot of excitement here at Fenway. And Rick, I mean, yesterday, the bad blood in this long-time feud between these two ball clubs boiled over again. Now, do you anticipate that we'll have any carryover from that here tonight?
Well, we talked to both clubhouses, and they say no. But if you watched Alex Rodriguez walk into the ballpark tonight, they've booed every single move that he has made. But I think the key to the Red Sox is to forget about that fight and focus on the dramatic come-from-behind win yesterday against Mariano Rivera. This is a team that over the winter added Curt Schilling and Keith Folk to a ball club that came close to getting to the World Series. But you have to agree right now, they have underachieved up to this point. They're a lot like weak strands, just kind of out floating in the air. But with the ability they have, you put those weak strands together, that could be a strong rope.
All right, now meanwhile, for the Yankees, Alex Rodriguez, the great superstar, now a Yankee, he got the winning hit here in the ninth inning on Friday, and then he was in the middle of all the controversy yesterday. But I know, Rick, you, along with a lot of other people, still feel that the heart and soul of this Yankee ball club is Derek Jeter.
Yeah, I do. Let me ask you something. Have you seen the Mel Gibson movie Braveheart?
Freedom! Yeah, I've seen it.
Absolutely.
I quote lines from it, yeah.
Mel Gibson's character was William Wallace, and to me, baseball's version of William Wallace is Derek Jeter, one of the great all-time leaders, a guy that will do absolutely anything it takes to win a ball game. He'll throw his face first into the stand. He'll go down the line to get an errant throw to make a relay to home plate to win a ball game. He's a guy, too, that more importantly to me is a leader. He'll get in the face of a teammate that's not right. A lot of times, Joe Torre says when there's problems in that clubhouse, they never get to his office because of people like Derek Jeter.
All right, so Jeter's in there. A-Rod is in there. Jason Veritek is not in there. Maybe a casualty of the bad blood here yesterday. But one thing is for sure, it's the rubber match. It's the Yankees and the Red Sox at Fenway. And this place has been filled up for a long time in advance tonight. Jose Contreras on the mound for Boston, and he's been pitching extremely well lately since his family arrived from Cuba. And he's up against the enigmatic one, Derek Lowe. Lowe with a record of only 8-9, and they are going to need big things from Lowe, you would think, if they're going to make a run at it. And tonight it may begin. We'll be back for the first pitch.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by McDonald's. Brought to you by McDonald's.
At Fenway Park tonight, it's about batter's box, not ballot box. foul lines, not party lines. But the us versus them of politics is very much a part of this game. Tonight is about allegiances to either the Bo Sox or the Yanks. Fans are out campaigning for their team. There's no place for pinstripes in Boston, no wearing Red Sox in New York.
I hate the Red Sox.
Get out of here, Yankee fans.
They're terrible, mean people.
They can go back to the Bronx.
With the 6th World Championship.
It'll be worth all the pain and the agony just for that one moment of glory.
I think I deserve a championship.
What are you going to worry about? They're cursed. Babe Ruth, Bucky Dent, Bill Buckner, Aaron Boone. That was the most delightful home run I've ever seen in my life.
It's a love-hate relationship. I love the Red Sox. They apparently hate me.
They killed my grandfather, they killed my father, now they're coming after me. I'm thinking about moving to New York.
He's a Red Sox stink.
1918.
If they don't win in my lifetime, I'll be happy. We'll give them the 20th century. 21st century, Red Sox time. Those are just my thoughts, you know? Who am I? Just a fan.
And there are Yankee fans and Red Sox fans elbow to elbow here at Fenway Park. But I have a feeling the Red Sox fans are outnumbering the Yankee fans by a considerable amount. As the Yankees and Red Sox are ready to play ball here, let's bring in our colleague Sam Ryan. Sam?
And, John, it's Derek Lowe back on the mound for the Sox tonight. Now, he's been bothered by blister problems on the thumb on his pitching hand. He said it's been so frustrating it actually cut his last start short to 5+ innings. I spoke with pitching coach Dave Wallace. He said usually with the blister on the thumb, it calluses over. But in Derek's case, that isn't happening because of the location, the way he's holding the ball. This is something Rick would be familiar with. So instead, they try to keep it soft by dipping it in hot paraffin wax. Trainer Jim Rowe told me this is something they used years ago, but somehow got away from it. He said it works so well, all the guys want to use it when they get some kind of bruise or something. They just dip their hand in the vat of hot wax, and it works for them. Gentlemen?
I wonder if you could do the same thing with vocal cords. All right, so, Rick, you'll keep an eye on the fingers of Derek Lowe tonight.
Well, we'll be able to tell just by watching that sinking fastball. If there's no late movement to it, he's in trouble.
So here we go. Strike one to Kenny Lofton. Lofton was one of the 5 who were ejected in yesterday's ball game. Lofton and A-Rod of the Yankees, Varitek and Kaeper of the Red Sox were ejected, and then later in the game, manager Terry Francona of the Red Sox was tossed out. That one is inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to the veteran Kenny Lofton. Lofton is hitting .299 for the Yankees. There's that sinking fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I'd say he's going to be okay.
Lofton with Jeter and Sheffield to follow. And the 31-year-old right-hander Derek Lowe. And he's trying to figure out what's been the problem. That breaking ball has popped up foul and back out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. I mean, this guy 2 years ago was a 22-game winner, or 21-game winner. Last year he won 17 games, but so far this year only 8 wins, and his ERA is up near 6. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Kenny Lofton, and that one is up and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Alex Rodriguez hitting cleanup tonight. He's back in there after being ejected yesterday. That one is up the middle, and Lofton has a base hit. He's going to try for second, and he makes it. So Kenny Lofton catches the Red Sox sleeping a little bit, turning a single into a double. Let's take a look at the rest of the Yankees batting order now, brought to you by McDonald's. It'll be Jeter at shortstop coming up next. Sheffield in right. A-Rod hitting cleanup at third. Posada the catcher. Matsui in left hitting 6th. Bernie Williams the DH. Tony Clark at first with Giambi still out. And Enrique Wilson is at second base batting 9th, all up against Derek Lowe of the Red Sox. Well, Kenny Lofton looked like he shaved 10 years off his age there in that play.
You know, and he made the Boston Red Sox look like they basically have looked all year, which is flat. No reason whatsoever he should have been able to get to second base.
The bunt and a miss by Jeter. I was just already writing a single in my scorebook as he was sliding into second for a double.
Yeah, and I think maybe Johnny Damon had done that as well, but that was not what Lofton was thinking. I talked to Kenny before the game, and it was about 30 minutes before batting practice, he didn't even know if he was in the lineup or not. I think that might be one of Joe Torre's tactics to kind of keep people hungry and aggressive. You got an opportunity to play, make something happen. He's doing that right now.
So Kenny Lofton with a little flashback. Now Jeter again showing bunt. Back to Derek Lowe, and he just does get Jeter. Over to third base is Lofton.
That's one of those little things right there that a lot of times makes a big difference. You talk about productive outs, and that's what Derek Jeter is able to do in that second hole. He's not at 100% right now and won't be for a while. He's got a broken bone in his right hand. His shoulder continues to bother him, so instead of trying to do too much, he just simply moves the guy to third base and then turns it over to the big boys.
But I thought this is the American League. This is Fenway Park. They're playing little ball at Fenway Park.
They're trying to get into the head of Derek Lowe, and they're on their way doing that.
Here's Gary Sheffield, the RBI leader. So the Yankees are playing for the first run. They want to get ahead right away here against Lowe. And Sheffield has led the Yankees. He has 70 runs batted in. Even though he's got bursitis in his shoulder, he's got pain every day. But nonetheless, he's in there day after day. And that's outside from Lowe. 2-0. Sheffield can get an RBI here a lot of different ways. A base hit certainly would do it, but even a ground ball almost anywhere in the infield would get Lofton home. A fly ball could do it. Two and 0 the count. Alex Rodriguez is on deck. And that's off the outside. 3-0.
I think late in the ballgame, this might not be a bad idea. You know the Yankees have grounded into a lot of double plays this year, but we're talking first inning right now. You can give up that one run and feel confident that Boston will score.
That one. And I'm thinking probably he didn't get the take sign that time. 3-0.
I don't know that Joe Torre has a take sign anymore.
Hey, which guy are you going to give a take sign? Miguel Cairo, maybe.
And he's not in there tonight.
The Yankees, who on a daily basis, when everybody's healthy, 8 of their 9 starters are all guys who've been on all-star teams. That one is a pop-up. Lofton is tagging up. Damon, nobody gets it. And Lofton will score. 1-0. The Yankees are leading, and it's a very poor beginning for the Red Sox. They'll score that as a hit and an RBI for Sheffield.
Well, it was a ball that could have been caught by any one of 3 people. I think what Johnny Damon was trying to do here was to let Gabe Kaeper get to that baseball because he had a better arm. Here's the K zone. Look at the late movement. You get Sheffield out in front. You get exactly what you want. But we've already seen the fact that Johnny Damon doesn't throw well. He was hoping that Kaeper could get there and possibly keep Kenny Lofton from scoring. Kaeper couldn't get there, and once again, you give away a base to the New York Yankees.
Immediately after that ball dropped, I looked up at the flags out there in center field to see what kind of wind we had playing tricks. But there's almost no wind at all blowing at Fenway. Apparently the Red Sox are playing tricks on themselves there. Here's Alex Rodriguez. And that is called a strike.
If you feel any wind, it's from the fact that the Red Sox fans are booing and blowing that air towards their team. And right now they deserve it.
A-Rod, 24 home runs, 4th best in the league. Even though he got off to a painfully slow start this year, his numbers are very representative. A slow chop, and that could well be a base hit, and is. And Millar unable to pick it up, but it wouldn't have mattered. A-Rod, who runs well, was going to get a base hit on that one anyway. Sheffield over to second.
This team is built to score runs, not so much to take runs away defensively as we look at Boston. Trot Nixon not out there in right field again. He was actually put on the disabled list with that quadricep injury again, but Johnny Damon is a guy out there that is a lot is expected of. You know, with Manny Ramirez in left field, you've got to cover some range there. Always difficult with the angles here at Fenway, and thus far tonight, Johnny's having a tough ball.
saying, does this make me a mental case? I mean, that was his lament to the writers here. When he finally said, hey, when other guys have a bad game, he'd just say, well, they had a bad game. But I have bad games. He keeps saying, I'm a mental case. Well, if he wasn't actually one before, maybe this inning could make him one, because nobody's hitting the ball hard against him. Lofton just a little roller up the middle for a single that he turned into a double. Jeter with a bunt. Sheffield with a pop-up that should have been caught, with Lofton staying at third, I might add. And now Rodriguez hits, what, a 55-foot top roller. Here is Posada, and that hits it right around the right knee. And now the bases are loaded.
No intention obviously meant there. You need to figure out a way to get a ground ball and get that double play. Boston Red Sox on the year have given up more unearned runs than just about anybody in baseball. And it's amazing to look at the scoreboard right now. They've allowed a run. The bases are loaded to the Yankees, and it's hard to believe they really haven't committed an error yet. But they certainly have given away a lot of opportunities for the Yankees to get a big lead.
Yeah, same thing happened yesterday. The Red Sox actually committed 4 errors and had 2 or 3 other plays that were either could have been errors or mental mistakes, things like that. Now here is Matsui. Matsui, 288 average, 18 homers, 63 batted in, and it's a strike. And he has been a guy that Lowe cannot handle. Matsui 11 for 19 lifetime against Lowe, a 579 average against him. So here is Godzilla against Derek Lowe. With the bases loaded, only 1 out. The infield looking for the double play ball. Matsui backs away for a moment. See where they're playing it. Both Garciaparra at shortstop and the second baseman. Mark Bellhorn shaded toward the middle a little bit and pulled in a bit. The double play down. 1 strike to count. Fenway is very quiet right now. The fans here having a hard time gathering in all the bizarre things that have happened in this inning.
Yeah, the fans are confused, and also some confusion between Derek Lowe and Doug Mirabelli, who was catching tonight. Mirabelli's normally a guy that catches Tim Wakefield, but during the ruckus yesterday with Alex Rodriguez, Jason Varitek injured his right wrist. He had to call the trainer this morning saying, I won't be able to go. He went and got x-rays. The x-rays came back negative. We actually got that report right before the ball game started. You have to wonder, too, if Trot Nixon was not injured in that ruckus as well. Both of them not in the lineup.
And a called strike now to Matsui. So quickly, no balls and 2 strikes to Matsui. The bases are loaded. Sheffield, who hit that pop-up that nobody caught, is at third. Rodriguez with the infield roller for a hit at second, and Posada got hit by the pitch at first. Yankees threatening a big inning right away. And that's off the outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, he got ahead of Lofton, the leadoff hitter, at 0-2, and could not put him away. Finally, Lofton hit a base hit to center.
He didn't have the ability, really, to put people away. Derek Lowe gets confused sometimes, thinking that he's a strikeout pitcher. And you're exactly right, John. That's what happened with Lofton. He went to the breaking ball. He went to a 4-seam fastball. He just needs to continue to pound that sinker to both sides of the plate, changing speeds. Get some more ground balls.
Off the outside again. 2-2 the count. Trying to get that ground ball, and the ground ball is especially for Derek Lowe. Terry Francona, his manager, looking on from the dugout. Pensive moments for the Red Sox. The Yankees with the bases loaded, 1 out. 2-2. And now 3-2.
See what I mean? This is what Derek Lowe has been doing all year long. He had the perfect game plan to begin with, and then all of a sudden he started thinking that he was Pedro Martinez or Curt Schilling. He is not a strikeout guy. Even if your defense continues to let them down, you have to continue to throw strikes and get balls hit.
3-2. Into center. Johnny Damon going back on this one. Still going back. Jump shot. He's got it. Sheffield will tag up and score. The other runners go back. Johnny Damon with a leaping catch out there as Matsui almost started a track meet. 2-0 Yankees.
I thought I was in a lot of trouble, you know, getting the opportunity to sit in once a year for Joe. I was the one that wanted to highlight Johnny Damon on defense. There's not a whole lot of other options with the Boston Red Sox, but he giveth and he taketh away. That is just a terrific play. Easily 2 runs would have scored, possibly 3. You would have still only had 1 out. More runners in scoring position. Now Derek Lowe needs to settle down, turn the page. You gave up 2 in the first. No big deal.
So Matsui, another run batted in for him. Number 64 for Matsui. Now Bernie Williams, the veteran. Bernie went through another long slump. There's a throw to first by Mirabelli, and just back in time is Posada ahead of the tag by Millar, and that was close.
Even if it doesn't work, it makes you feel good as a starting pitcher that your catcher's trying to get you out of this jam. Take a look at Millar coming in there. The throw gets there a little bit quicker. He would have been out of the inning. Posada just barely back with that sore right leg from when he was hit by a pitch that put him down there first.
Bernie Williams, the 7th hitter of the inning for the Yankees. 1 strike the count. And off the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bernie, who was on the disabled list when the inning, or when the season started, then when he was activated, it took him a while to get his bat going. Got it going, and then he got into another long slump here recently where at one point he was 2 for 40. But the last couple of games, Bernie is hitting the ball well again. In fact, in this series, Bernie Williams has gone 4 for 10. You see, he was red hot in June, but in July, back into the doldrums. And up and away. 2-1 the count to Bernie Williams.
Now, in fact, in that month of June, he became the 7th New York Yankee ever with 2,000 career hits. So Bernie Williams, as we know, has had that uniform on for a while. He started out in this organization as a 16-year-old.
He has been a constant along with Jeter throughout this great run the Yankees have been on. High in the air along the left field line. Manny Ramirez into the corner. And in the doorway, he's got it. Nicely done by Manny Ramirez. Now, the power pitcher, Contreras to the mound with a 2-0 lead. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. We're at Fenway Park. The Yankees with a 2-run first inning. Could have been a lot worse. Now the Red Sox are coming up. And let's take a look at the Red Sox batting order brought to you by McDonald's. Johnny Damon in center field. And he's had an outstanding year. Mark Bellhorn at second, gets a lot of walks. High on base average. David Ortiz, the DH, having a great year. Manny Ramirez, the left fielder, known for his offense, not his glove, but a nice play a moment ago. Nomar. And Nomar's finally starting to come around. That average up to 324, hitting 400 in July. Kevin Millar having a huge weekend here. 3 homers on Friday, 4 hits yesterday. Bill Miller, the game-winning hit yesterday. He's at third base. Doug Mirabelli for the injured Jason Varitek, the catcher. Gabe Kaeper for the injured Trot Nixon in right field. Red Sox, it's not been that long since they've really been healthy. And now guys are starting to get hurt again. And there is Jose Contreras, 4-0 since his wife and daughters rejoined him. And they were apart for nearly 2 years. And Jorge Posada says, his catcher says, he thinks it's not any kind of a coincidence at all. There's a serenity about Contreras since his wife and family arrived that he had never seen before.
I think a big thing, too, John, we know that the players that come to the United States to play baseball from different countries, and some adjust easier than others do. Some never adjust, and that was a question and a concern that the Yankees had about Contreras. But ever since he went back to Florida with their pitching coach down in Tampa, Billy Connors, he's been a different guy. He came back with more confidence, and the reason he did is because he's changed his pitch selection. He now has what they call a surrender pitch. He's throwing that two-seam sinking fastball more and more.
I think you're the guy who named that pitch, aren't you? That's always your advice to pitchers. You need to have that pitch that you can go to every so often. Clark can't get it, but Enrique Wilson does. But safe at first is Damon, who is racing up the line. And as he slid into Contreras, Contreras couldn't handle the throw, and Damon is safe.
We got all kinds of things going on defensively. Terrific play on the part of Wilson. Clark not quite able to get there, but when your infielder ranges that far, the one thing as a pitcher you have to do is get to the bag. I think Contreras was surprised by the fact that Wilson was able to get there, and he was also surprised by Damon getting down that line as quick as he did.
So Contreras never even touched the ball, as you saw there. That one hit Johnny Damon right in the left hit. And so he is at first. And had it not hit Damon at all, he might still be running. Here is Mark Bellhorn, switch hitter. And that's the ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Contreras, a different kind of a pitcher than Derek Lowe. I mean, he throws hard. He's a power type pitcher.
An outstanding split finger fastball. He gets most of his strikeouts on. But the one thing the two starters tonight have in common, you can run on them at will.
Damon is the Red Sox base stealing threat. That's down and in. 2-0 the count to Mark Bellhorn. We also should bring up here that we're talking about Contreras recently, and he's been doing extremely well here of late. But he has never done very well against the Red Sox. He earlier this year faced them a couple of times and got lit up early and had early exits each time. And the wild throw into the camera well. And Johnny Damon will be given second base on the error.
Tortora trying to figure out what's going on here. Well, we talked about that surrender pitch, the sinking fastball. Contreras even has the ability to throw it to first base.
Well, now the manager, Terry Francona's out with the first base umpire, Mike Winters, and he may be lobbying for Damon to be able to go to third base here.
You know, they had a lengthy conversation in yesterday's ball game, Terry Francona and Mike Winters. Francona getting ejected.
Here's that pickoff. I think they're just throwing at Damon. No throw by the Yankees to first base has done anything except head for Damon yet.
So they're disguising that hit by pitch. Instead of hitting him at home plate, they're getting him back and forth.
Here is Bellhorn, and now it is 3-0. Man, what a weird first inning this is.
Well, I'm looking for Jeter to sneak in behind to try to pick him off there. Maybe they could hit him again, huh? This is that patience, John, you talked about with Bellhorn. Just a terrific on-base percentage.
374 on-base average. And that will go up a little bit. He gets the walk. 2 men on. And now the sluggers are coming up. Yankees 2, the Red Sox nothing. Last of the first inning. We're at Fenway Park, the rubber match of the series. Democratic presidential candidate John Kerry here tonight. And on the left side of the screen is John Glenn, also here watching the ball game. And in between the two of them, back from the war in Afghanistan, a much decorated military man from the Army. That is Mr. Pommier from Woburn. And John Kerry threw out the ceremonial first pitch to Pommier before the ball game. And the convention gets started tomorrow. But other than John Kerry and a handful of people here tonight, everybody else here is more focused on what's going on tonight. Here is David Ortiz, 87 runs batted in. 4-1. So he's not taken after a guy gets a 4-pitch walk.
When you get asked to be in the home run derby contest during the All-Star break, they don't want you up there taking RBI situations like this. This man has come through a lot since he put on that Red Sox jersey.
Ortiz second in the league in RBIs behind only Baltimore's Miguel Tejada. Manny Ramirez, who's on deck, is 4th in the league. And they have set things up nicely for the two of them. Damon at second, Bellhorn at first. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ortiz, who began last year playing on a platoon basis, and as the season went along, he began playing more and more. The last 162 games that he's played, look at those numbers, 48 runs and 145 runs batted in.
Well, the Yankees know about him. He had 6 home runs last year versus Yankee pitching.
And it's 2-1. And we saw with Lowe in the top of the first that he was erratic, especially after he got ahead of a hitter. But right now, Contreras does not often seem to know where that ball is going. 2-1 the count. Johnny Damon is at second. There's Bellhorn at first. 2-1 to David Ortiz, extremely powerful hitter. And now it is 3-1. Manny Ramirez is on deck. I beg your pardon. The umpire called that a strike.
He took his time doing it, didn't he? I too thought it was a ball.
That's an umpire throwing at a broadcaster. I may have to take my revenge on Hunter Wendelstedt. 2-2 the count. A high hard one. He fouled it back to the screen. So not the splitter that you might have expected with 2 strikes there from Contreras. He came after him. He challenged him.
Such good plate coverage by Ortiz. Even last year when Roger Clemens was with the Yankees, he talked about that. And his good buddy right behind him, Manny Ramirez. To me, this is one of the better spots in baseball to hit in. When you know Manny's behind you, you're going to get good pitches to hit.
There's the splitter, but taken by Ortiz. No swing, says Bruce Fleming on the appeal, the third base umpire. It's full count now. Nobody out. And you got the speedy Damon at second.
No. I know what you're going to ask. You do not send him. Reason being, obviously, we talked about Manny Ramirez, but the main reason is that Ortiz is a left-handed hitter. Posada would have an easy shot making that throw to nail Damon at third base.
3-2 the count. So we're not looking for them to run. And they're not running. And the walk. They're going to walk up a base. So after the infield hit by Damon, both Bellhorn and Ortiz have drawn walks. Mel Stottlemyre looks like he might be headed out to the mound to visit with Contreras, but first a few words with manager Joe Torre. Manny Ramirez is coming up with the bases loaded.
Talk about the Yankees defensively. Again, a lot like Boston, not one of the better teams in the American League, but we know one thing. We remember back at the All-Star game in Seattle, Alex Rodriguez has played third base before. It was the year that Cal Ripken was voted in as a third baseman. A-Rod went from the shortstop position over to third base. Joe Torre telling Cal, get back to shortstop. We want you to play a half an inning there. But, John, I really think it's been remarkable the job defensively A-Rod has done at third base. It took him a while to get suited there, but working along with Derek Jeter hard in spring training, he's become above average third baseman.
Cal Ripken himself had predicted that it wouldn't take A-Rod that long to get acclimated at third base, not as hard a worker as he was. Cal made that transition both ways. Starting as a third baseman in the big leagues, and Earl Weaver moved him to short, and then many, many years later, moving from short over to third.
Oh, and the Hall of Famer Mike Schmidt came up through the minor leagues as a shortstop, and we know he finished his career at that third base bat.
So now, the Red Sox thinking big inning. The fans chanting Manny. 80 runs batted in, but he has not been productive in this series as Contreras steps off the slab. Manny has only 1 hit in 9 at-bats in this series. Two 0. The Yankees lead. Never has, or seldom has, so much happened with so little hard contact being made by hitters. Manny takes it, and it's a little bit inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Ramirez with 15 grand slams. So he's moving up that all-time list.
I think every number you look at with Manny Ramirez offensively starts with a 3. Runners in scoring position, bases loaded, left-handed, right-handed. It doesn't matter. This is just one of the best offensive weapons in all of baseball.
And that wall in left field looks so close when a guy like Manny Ramirez is standing in. And a little bit of a breeze is picked up now, blowing out to left field. Damon, Bellhorn, and Ortiz, the 3 runners. Nice pickup. A-Rod home. They get the force out. Hunter Wendelstedt said that Posada kept his foot on the plate.
To me, there's no question A-Rod made the right play. I'm just not sure that Posada was able to hang on to that plate. He kind of got crossed up with his footwork. That's a terrific range right there. And then, you know, once you went to the ground, you could not. Boy, that's terrific. He might have kept a toenail on the corner of that bag. But once A-Rod goes down, he knows he's not going to complete the double play by going to second base and then first. Posada just trying to hang on. The throw was down the line. A-Rod did not want to hit the runner, Johnny Damon. And a huge, huge out for Contreras and an opportunity to get out of this.
Nomar, and it's 0-1. Nomar, always a free swinger. Garciaparra hitting over 300 with men in scoring position. He is hitting .403 in the month of July. Nomar has had 4 hits in 9 at-bats in this series. Bases loaded, 1 out. 2-0 Yankees.
Take a look at this one more time. Well, I mean, Hunter Wendelstedt had the best position to make that call of any of us, but you can see him just trying to drag his knee, his leg, everything. That's a terrific play all the way around and a good call. Not a popular call here in Boston.
Fans were sure he had come off the plate, but the slow motion replay says otherwise. 0-2. Nomar, a defensive swing there, and that fastball away, fouling it back onto the rooftop. The Yankees got 2 runs in the first inning with a variety of rollers and bunts and drop pop-ups, hit batsmen. The Red Sox, meanwhile, have the bases loaded with Bellhorn, Ortiz, and Ramirez with an infield hit and a couple of walks. And caught in left field by Matsui. Bellhorn will not test him. A one-hop throw right there. So neither Ramirez nor Garciaparra able to get anybody home.
Yeah, but is there anybody hotter in this series than the guy coming to home plate?
So now it's left up to the rally karaoke guy.
Let's cowboy up, as Kevin Millar said most of last year.
I mean, he was having just a rotten season, but in this series, 3 home runs in the game Friday and a 4-hit game here yesterday, and he is 7 for 9 in the series. Three men on, 2 men out, and you can hear again, all of a sudden Fenway is very, very quiet. Contreras trying to get out of a terrible jam. 1-1. Kevin Millar, who last year, he got a lot of credit for keeping guys loose in the clubhouse, bringing the clubhouse together, making this a very tight-knit group by the time the postseason rolled around. Jason Veritek not able to play, injured in that brawl yesterday. Shallow center, Lofton in a hurry. Base hit. Bellhorn scores. The throw offline. Tied up. Ortiz with a slide to tie it up. And Millar cowboys up.
Absolutely on fire right now, and at the perfect time to fire up this team that has seemed flat all year long, the Boston Red Sox. Contreras with an opportunity to get out of that. Take a look at the pitch, outer half. There's the K zone. Look at that. I mean, that's a pitch right there that you want to make as a pitcher. You hope that they take a swing at that. He did. He was able to hit it just far enough to get it over the infield, just in front of the charging Kenny Lofton, and we are right back where we started with a tie ball game.
And what did you think of the form on the slide there by Ortiz?
Terrific. Wasn't it pretty?
It looked like he was having a brawl all by himself there. 1 ball and no strikes to Bill Millar, yesterday's hero. And Millar, the batting champion, in the league last year. Got hurt early on this year. And it took him a while to get his bat going. But yesterday, he did something that had only been done one other time. A game-ending home run against Mariano Rivera. Throw down to second. Jeter covering, but back to the bag is Manning.
As well as he's pitched as of late, we talk about winning 8 of his last 9 decisions. This is a team that he has to beat. Most people figure that these two once again will hook up in the postseason. Those numbers indicate Contreras might not be a part of it.
Right to second, Enrique Wilson, and that is the inning. So, an almost preposterous first inning, and we're still tied. Yanks 2, Red Sox 2. We start the second inning. Tony Clark hitting 8th in the Yankees order, leads off against Derek Lowe. That's in at the knees for a called strike. Tony Clark in there rather than Jason Giambi. They still don't know what's wrong with Giambi, but he had that parasite that caused him to grow exceedingly weak, and he has not been able to get his strength back even yet. He played most of the game here Friday, and finally he just ran out of steam, and Joe Torre had to get him out of there. Gave him yesterday off. He went through a battery of tests earlier this week. A lot of things have already been shown not to be there, but the last couple of tests should be coming in. The results of those tests Monday and Tuesday, and they're hoping to know more then. So, I mean, they mainly want to know what they can do to get it back to full strength.
Manager Joe Torre has talked about how important Jason Giambi is to have in the middle of that lineup.
Good slider from Lowe, and he gets the strikeout. Tony Clark out number 1. First inning of this ball game. About the only guys who did poorly in the first inning among hitters were the guys who hit the ball hard. You know, if you hit a pop-up or an infield bouncer, you were rewarded. 4 runs ended up scoring, but neither pitcher had really been touched up yet.
I think we're getting an idea of why these are 2 of the bottom 4 pitchers in innings pitched per start. Derek Lowe with the 2nd fewest innings per start. The 4th fewest. Contreras is the 2nd fewest, and the guy who had the fewest that was leading was Pat Hinken, and
he retired.
He just retired. These guys aren't going to retire that.
They also may not go 9. Enrique Wilson, the hitter. 1 ball, no strikes. Lowe threw 26 pitches in the first inning, and Contreras threw 24 pitches. And really, I'd have seen, even though both of them gave up 2 runs in the first, all things considered, they did extremely well to make it only 2 runs. Because a lot of things were happening while guys were not hitting the ball well to get them in a lot of trouble.
I agree with you, but the only difference, I think Contreras put himself in trouble by not getting to the first base bag in time on the ball hit by Johnny Damon.
2-1 the count. There's Millar. Lowe gets over there, and Wilson is gone. 2 men down. That's a good point. And also, Contreras, after that infield hit by Damon, that should have been an out. Somehow they should have gotten him out. Then he walked 2 straight hitters. Lowe, meanwhile, he was getting pop-ups that weren't caught. Little top rollers that turned into base hits. Katie Couric is here from the Today Show, getting ready for the Democratic Convention. It starts tomorrow in Boston.
There's not a much tougher ticket in baseball to get than one here at Fenway.
That's a base hit for Kenny Lofton, and he is 2 for 2. Kenny Lofton, he knows how to ratchet it up a few notches in prime time. I mean, he's been on a lot of outstanding ball clubs, a lot of postseason experience. It's been the igniter at the top of the order for excellent ball clubs.
It was a terrific pickup for the Chicago Cubs last year, filling in at that leadoff position, and also, as usual, playing a solid center field.
Helped the Cubs get to the postseason last year, and the year before he helped the San Francisco Giants get to the World Series. Here's Derek Jeter. He had a sacrifice bunt in the first inning.
We're supposed to see a different Derek Lowe here with speed on the base pad. 20 for 21 in stolen base attempts this year. He's supposed to be quicker.
center field. Damon and Kaeper. It's Kaeper. And that is the inning. 1 hit, 1 left. When we come back, a look at one of the great moments in the last 15 years of Major League Baseball coverage right here on ESPN.
One of the most improbable games where you would end up in the 7th inning and no hits for the Yankees. Jeter goes down swinging. 1-2-3 inning. Matsui up. 2 down, 9th inning. Grounder could be the first. Combined no hitter, but the Houston Astros have pitched a no-hitter against the Yankees for the first time in 44 years, and they went through almost the entire bullpen to do it.
And there's John Kerry talking to Larry Lucchino, the president of the Boston Red Sox. As John Kerry here, along with all of these Democrats and Ben Affleck, who's, as I understand it, he's supposed to be a speaker at the convention. And he's a native of this area, a great Red Sox fan.
He's always got that hat on, doesn't he? With different hats, but all of them with a B on it.
And there is Mirabelli taking the slider for a strike. Mirabelli, and there for the injured Varitek. Then Kaeper to follow. Johnny Damon due up third of the inning. 2-2 the score, last of the second inning. Doug Mirabelli hitting .287. He got 7 home runs and only 87 at bats. So I don't think they give trophies for best backup catcher, but maybe we can have an ESPY for that next year, because he's a very strong defensive catcher, strong arm.
Like that supporting actor kind of thing. You know,
best backup catcher on a pennant contender.
He reminds me a lot of what Tony Clark has done filling in for Jason Giambi at first base.
Best backup first baseman on a pennant contender.
With power, though. We need power. Clark's got 10 homers, and you talked about Mirabelli with 7.
And the winner is...
You're going to have to watch the ESPYs next year. I don't know. I don't have the envelope.
This is the Sutcliffe, we're calling it. Tony Clark.
I will be presenting that next year.
And Doug Mirabelli, Best Backup Catcher Award. The Sutcliffe Award. I'm John Miller with Rick Sutcliffe. Joe Morgan's up in Cooperstown at the Hall of Fame inductions today. I think all the Hall of Famers are having that big dinner party where you have to be a Hall of Famer to go.
Yeah, it's just been. Well, you'd like to have an ear in there, wouldn't you?
Congratulations to Paul Molitor and Dennis Eckersley. Well deserved. Also Murray Chass, the baseball writer of the New York Times. He won the Spink Award. And also Lon Simmons, the great voice of the San Francisco Giants for so many years. He won the Ford C. Frick Award. Dennis Eckersley, Paul Molitor into the Hall of Fame. Murray Chass of the Times and Lon Simmons. I grew up listening to Lon Simmons and his partner.
Tell it
Russ
goodbye.
Hopkins. Yeah.
That guy, huh?
Giants home run. Willie Mays hit one. He'd say, "Tell it goodbye." And Mirabelli hit by that pitch. And I thought he took one for the team right there.
He wasn't in any hurry to get out of the way of that. It was an off-speed pitch. That split-finger fastball. Got away from Contreras, and Mirabelli said, "Hey, you got 2 strikes on me. I will happily take that little 90-foot stroll down to first base." Here it is. You can see really not a whole lot on it, and nor did, I mean, Mirabelli kind of turned, but he really didn't move away from that pitch. And John, I want to take a moment to clarify something. Glenn Geffner, the public relations man for the Red Sox, came in and said Trot Nixon was not hurt in that brawl yesterday. It was the same injury that he's had most of this year with that quadricep.
Here's Gabe Kaeper, and that's a strike on the inside.
That's really a huge blow for Boston, too. Trot with a career year last year, home runs. I mean, it looks like he was just coming into the prime of his best years, and just to have injuries take a lot of playing time away from this year just makes it more difficult on that man.
Gabe Kaeper, .267 average, 4 homers, 17 batted in. That's a base hit. A hanging slider cut off on the warning track by Matsui, and he keeps Mirabelli, who's not a fast runner, from even thinking about going to third base.
I'm guessing the K-zone will tell the whole story on that ball. When they get hit that hard, normally they find the heart of the plate, and then they find the big part of the bat. A little hanging, breaking ball, thigh high. You see the contact made right out in front of home plate. That's a terrific jump on the part of Matsui in left field, though, to keep that ball from the green monster out there and keep Mirabelli at second base.
So Matsui, who does a lot of things well. Here's Mirabelli now at second with Kaeper at first. And Contreras facing Johnny Damon, who got that infield hit. And Contreras was late covering at first base. That started Boston's 2-run first inning. It's 2-2, last of the second. And you see how the Yankees infield, they're pulled in. Third baseman A-Rod is pulled well in. I mean, Damon could drop down a bunny, got excellent speed. And gets up and away. The other hand, I mean, he's been, although he slowed down there for a while the last several days, but he's been one of the hottest hitters in the league for the last 4 to 6 weeks.
He loves hitting in this ballpark.
2-0 the count. Contreras in all kinds of trouble again. Down the line, foul. Past Tony Clark and just foul.
I don't think so. I was wrong on Posada hanging on with his left foot to touch the plate on the throw from A-Rod. This looks like it went right over the bag here. There it comes down the line. Clearly fair at that point. Did it go over the corner of that bag? I thought so. Johnny Damon thought so. The crowd thought so. But Mike Winters was the only one whose opinion counted.
And Lynn Jones, the first base coach for Boston, went over and talked to Winters a little bit. Johnny Damon. 2 men on, nobody out. 2 balls, 1 strike to count. Now 3-1. Bellhorn on deck. Now we saw Jeter bunt for a sacrifice as the second batter of the whole game.
Yeah, you're not going to see Boston do that, are you?
Boston has had 8 sacrifice bunts all year, and 5 of those by Pokey Reese, who's on the disabled list now. The count. That ball is belted down the right field line toward the foul pole. It hits the pole. A 3-run homer for Damon. 5-2 Red Sox. Sacrifice bunt. When you got a leadoff man that already coming into the game tonight had 12 homers and 50 RBIs, able to keep this one just fair, as we say, off the foul pole. Look at the crowd going crazy, and boy, it's easy to see, John, to me, why they have a chance this year to sell out 81 consecutive home games in this ballpark. And there's ball 1 to Bellhorn. Nobody out in the inning. It started when he hit Mirabelli, but he hung a slider to Kaeper, who ripped it for a single. Now Damon has taken advantage of that friendly dimension in right field. It's only 302 feet to that foul pole, which they named for the former Red Sox great Johnny Pesky, still in the organization.
Oh, great to see him in the clubhouse, isn't it?
Yeah, he was here tonight, and they made a joke out of it, because Pesky was a singles hitter, more of a line drive hitter. And they said the only time he could ever hit a home run was he hit one around that foul pole, only 302 feet down the right field line. They started calling it Pesky's pole. And Johnny Damon took good advantage. A more reasonable distance in right field, that ball, I think, would have hooked foul easily. If it's 330 down the line, that ball would have hooked foul before it got to the foul pole.
So he was a Pesky kind of hitter, I guess?
He was Johnny Pesky.
The Peskiest of all hitters.
2-1 the count to Bellhorn. So Contreras. Now that pitch was a close one. It's 3-1 the count. And there's Johnny Pesky from Portland, Oregon. But he made a name for himself right here in New England. He even managed the Red Sox for a brief time when Don Zimmer got fired near the end of the 1980 season. That ball is hammered high and deep to right, headed for the Yankees bullpen. That ball is gone. Bellhorn with a long home run over the 380 marker. 6-2 Red Sox.
per start looks to even go down more for Jose Contreras. Back-to-back home runs by the first two hitters in the lineup for the Boston Red Sox. Joe Torre, pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre have to be frustrated.
Now David Ortiz. I mean, they got 4 runs home. Nobody out in the inning. And just now the big power hitters are coming up. Ortiz, 26 homers, 87 batted in. He walked his first time and scored a run. 1 inning plus for Contreras, 6 runs allowed, and hello. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Continuing to struggle against this ball club. Look at the 0-2 record. Look at the incredible ERA. And when you think about all of the other teams that he's faced, 15-2 with an ERA just over 3. So there is something about this club that they have got on Contreras.
1 ball, 1 strike. Popped up. Shallow left. Jeter out. Matsui in. Matsui gets there. And that is the first out of the 2nd inning. Boston ahead, 6-2. Bellhorn's home run. Now that is a home run in any ballpark. That's not an easy spot to hit a home run here. And Red Sox fan John Kerry, a native of Massachusetts, celebrating with the rest of the Red Sox fans here. And Jose Contreras has got, it looks to me like he's got the makings of a serious headache. There's Felix Heredia, the left-hander, up in the Yankees bullpen now. I mean, in his previous 2 starts this year against Boston, there's a splitter. It's 0-1 to Manny Ramirez. He went 2 1/3 innings in one game and 3 1/3 in the other. Damon and Bellhorn, they'll be comparing notes on their home runs. Well, you see, Mark, if I hit it out there where you hit yours, the guy's going to catch it maybe at the edge of the warning track. But I got to kind of aim for that foul pole if I'm going to go deep. High in the air, right center field. Sheffield, after a long run, right on the edge of the warning track in front of the Boston bullpen. That one's hit pretty well by Manny Ramirez to the opposite field. Manny is 0 for 2 in the game now.
Number 5, Nomar Garciaparra.
Well, the Yankees, one thing they know, I mean, Joe Torre got to have all the confidence in the world that, hey, it's only the 2nd inning. We're down by 4. What's the big deal?
And I think that's why Derek Jeter came to the mound after the home run by Johnny Damon, saying this game is far from over. You need to start getting some people out.
Curveball to Garciaparra, and it's 0-1. Garciaparra lined out to left his first time.
We wondered if both teams before tonight's game might be warned with what happened yesterday with Alex Rodriguez and the brawl. We were not told, I wasn't anyway, of a warning. We wonder if Contreras maybe not letting that bother him a little bit. He needs to move some people off home plate and get some ground balls at somebody.
Well, he hung that breaking ball, and Nomar shoots it through the left side for a base hit. That's the 4th hit of the inning for the Red Sox. And now here comes Mel Stottlemyre, and he's going to head to the mound to talk with Contreras here. 14 Red Sox have batted in this game, and 9 of them have reached base. 2 down in the 2nd, 6-2. The Red Sox are leading. Coming up tomorrow night from Cincinnati, the Cardinals and the Reds. Woody Williams will be going for the Cardinals up against Paul Wilson. Scott Rowland having the huge year along with Albert Pujols. Cardinals with the best record in the National League up against the Cincinnati Reds. Dave O'Brien, Jeff Bradley, Tony Gwynn, and Kyle Peterson will all be there to bring you the ball game at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific from the great American ballpark. Williams 7-6, Wilson 9-2. Williams, along with Matt Morris, figure to be the aces of the staff of the Cardinals. Williams has fewer wins than any of their starters right now. As Chris Carpenter's won 10 ball games. Jason Marquis got 10. Supan's got 9. And Matt Morris won his 11th today. Tim Russert here from NBC News. Hey, maybe we're going to be guests on Meet the Press. Tim, we're a little busy right now.
It may not be long before we play Meet the Bullpen New York Yankee style.
Here is Kevin Millar. 8 hits, 10 at-bats in the series. A 2-run single in the first inning tonight. And the slider low and outside. And he came through in the clutch. I mean, it was going to be a depressing inning. They had the bases loaded, nobody out, but Ramirez hit into a force play. Nomar flied out to left. But then with 2 down, Millar came through in the clutch with a single to center to tie up the ball game. Garciaparra, the runner at first. Slider, 2-0.
I really think when Contreras looks back at this start, I mean, he brought a lot of this on himself. The 2 runs that scored on that base hit by Millar were 2 base-on balls issued by Contreras. This inning started when he hit Doug Mirabelli with the pitch. So you take away those guys, you make them put it in play, things could be a lot different.
He had 2 strikes in Mirabelli. That was in there for a strike, but it wasn't particularly well thrown. Another hanger. 2-1 the count now. 52 pitches thrown by Contreras.
So much to do with confidence, and you have to have success to gain confidence, and that just has not happened for Contreras against Boston.
Fastball inside. 3-1. Bill Millar, yesterday's hero, is on deck. Now keep in mind, at 6-2 Boston, they jumped out to a 4-1 lead early here on Friday night with Curt Schilling on the mound. One of their aces, 12-game winner. And they lost that game. 3-1 the count. And a fastball in there for a strike. He ran it to the inside. There's Curt Schilling. And he was distraught, depressed about his inability. He did not survive the 6th inning of that game with that lead. A 5-run 6 for the Yankees put them ahead 7-4 and knocked Schilling out of the game. It's the game where A-Rod drove in the winning run in the 9th inning eventually. 3-2 the count. There goes the runner, the high drive down the left field line, hooking, and it's going to be foul onto the rooftop. Still 3-2 to Kevin Millar. Friday, Kevin Millar had his first 3-home-run game. That was against Lieber. This one in the 6th inning against Quantrill, and finally against Flash Gordon in the 8th inning. And that was a big fly. And last time the Red Sox had a player hit 3 in the same game, it was against the Yankees 7 years ago, and Mo Vaughn was the one to do it. When it goes, and that one is slashed foul into the seats in left.
And even with all of that, and Derek Jeter going 0 for 5, the Red Sox still lost. They were able to tag the closer for Boston, Keith Falk, with that loss. So, I mean, this series here has just been so much like the one we saw last October when these 2 teams hooked up, and I think most people predict that it could be these 2 again.
3-2. Garciaparra, the runner at first. 33rd pitch of the inning. High in the air, deep down the left field line, hooking again, and a foul again off into the night. Still 3-2. That was a long one. That was
Nobody calls a foul home run better than you, buddy.
I'm a connoisseur of foul ball home runs. I mean, but for a win, maybe blowing a little more strongly in the opposite direction. Carlton Fisk's famous home run could have been a foul ball.
Well, that's his problem. He's not doing the thing Fisk did at home plate when he hits it.
Look out. That got him. That's the second hit batsman of the inning by Contreras. Now a warning is being issued by the plate umpire, Hunter Wendelstedt, to both dugouts. Garciaparra over to second base. And Joe Choi's going to come out to chat with Hunter Wendelstedt.
Well, I'll tell you what's happened here. Baseball has talked to the umpires before the game tonight and said if anything even comes close to looking like trouble, you need to issue warnings right away. Well, when you throw at somebody, an umpire is supposed to determine whether there is intent involved or not. That was another split finger fastball. That was an off-speed pitch like the one that Doug Mirabelli got hit with. There's absolutely no intent at all involved in that, but what you do is handcuff the pitchers for the rest of the night on pitching in.
Well, it is also the third time a hitter has been hit tonight.
Well, take a look at that. He's not even trying to move. It's a split finger. You can see the lack of rotation on the baseball. This is a guy on the mound that's just simply struggling. He's not throwing at anybody.
So Torrey finally finishes his discussion with Hunter Wendelstedt. Bill Miller's coming up with 2 men on. And 2 men out and 4 runs in for Boston.
I don't blame Hunter Wendelstedt for doing that. Joe Torre's going to laugh about it, but he has to protect himself as a young umpire as well. He just saw back-to-back foul home runs. And
so here is Bill Miller. He hit the home run against Mariano Rivera in the 9th inning yesterday to end the game. And that's too low. 1 ball and no strikes. Miller, he said he wasn't trying to hit a home run. Just wanted to hit the ball hard. I mean, guys almost always say that, don't they? But, I mean, Bill Miller's not a home run hitter.
Just trying to put a good swing on.
Just trying to make solid contact.
Yeah.
He's the 9th hitter of this inning. Up the middle. There's Jeter. And Wilson gets the put out at second on Millar. The inning is at long last over. A 36-pitch nightmare for Contreras. Johnny Damon hit a 3-run homer off the Johnny Pesky foul pole in right field. 6-2 Red Sox.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by McDonald's. Brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time.
The Democrats are descending upon the Fleet Center as we speak in preparation for the Democratic convention, which starts here tomorrow. A lot of them are here at Fenway Park tonight, including John Kerry. And I believe he's going to probably win the nomination for the Democratic.
You're going to go out
candidate.
on a limb here, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there used to be there were conventions where that was still an issue, right? I did a little as Gary Sheffield pops one up behind the plate. Mirabelli back near the backstop. He's got it. Holding the mask in one hand and the one-handed catch. So that was a lot of confidence by Mirabelli. Why toss the mask away? I know I'm going to catch it.
Well, I think the main reason is because the fans are so close to the field here. He didn't know exactly where he was. I mean, you don't want to throw that thing into the crowd and hit somebody.
Now, Alex Rodriguez, as you mentioned at the beginning of the telecast, he was booed wherever he went, whatever he did before the ball game. And the slider from Derek Lowe misses. 1 ball, no strikes. A-Rod got an infield hit in the first inning. 6-2 Boston ahead. I mean, there's been so much action already in this game. And then you look at the scoreboard, only 7 innings left to go. Fastball misses. 2-0 now to A-Rod. Posada is on deck. The Yankees have had more comeback wins than any other team in the majors. You know, and sometimes you fall behind 1-0 in the first and you come back and win 12-1. That counts as a comeback. But most of theirs are not like that. I mean, they've had some pitching problems, especially with the starting pitching. Their bullpen's been strong. That's a ball outside. 3-0 the count. And they've been 3, 4, 5, 6 runs down in ball games and still come back to win. 37 of their victories have been come from behind wins. And look at that. From 4 runs or more down, 6 times they've come back to win. 4 times when they've been 5 or more behind.
Well, it takes a combination of 2 things. One, obviously, a terrific offense, which we know they have. But 2, at the All-Star game, Joe Torre telling me this might be the best bullpen in New York that he has ever had. The durable Paul Quantrill down there. We know that Tom Gordon's there, and, of course, Mariano has been there for almost as long as Joe has. I mean, that's about as solid in a situation where they had some concerns with that last year.
Well, they have some concerns with the fact that everybody's had so much work out of the bullpen. Yesterday, he just shut Tom Gordon down. Strike 2 to A-Rod. and did not use him, and they did not hold that lead yesterday. Quantrill has been in 53 games out of their first 96. Gordon has been in 48 of them, half of them. Mariano Rivera is having an amazing year. They've been in half of their games. They are the top 3 in the American League in appearances out of anybody's bullpen.
I think they're excited to get Kevin Brown and maybe Mike Mussina back.
Nomar shows off that arm. A-Rod is gone. 2 down in the 3rd. Fans, log on to MLB.com to follow baseball live on the web with MLB.com's real-time stats, game day audio, and MLB.tv.mlb.com, where baseball is always on. I was tuned in listening to ball games on the radio on MLB.com today. Derek Lowe. He had that nightmarish first inning, and a lot of it was not his own doing. And now he seems to have increasingly found a comfort level. Jorge Posada, strike right on the outside. You mentioned Kevin Brown, by the way, Rick. In a rehab start today in the Staten Island.
Yeah.
He pitched 6 innings and threw 80 pitches, 60 of them strikes. 2 earned runs allowed out of 4 total.
How many strikeouts?
6 strikeouts.
Yeah, he's ready.
On the outside corner, strike 2 to Posada. And I was talking to Brian Cashman and Joe Torre before the game about that. When they got the news, there's Brian Cashman, the general manager of the Yankees, and they were hopeful that that was a good sign, because if everything did go well, when they talked to Brown later, that slider is in the dirt for a ball. Brown could return to the rotation as early as this coming Friday. And it's premature to say that now. Joe Torre did chat with Gene Michael, who was at the start, and got Gene Michael's assessment of how Brown looked.
Could there be a more appropriate name for the right-hand man for George Steinbrenner than Cash Man? I mean, that's it. That's why he got the job, isn't it? Oh, we know why he got the job. He is just outstanding. Done a terrific job putting all this together, and along with Joe Torre, just keeping that chemistry as positive as it's been.
2-2 to Posada, and that is a little bit low. 3-2. It's always about the money with you, isn't it? No. Cash man. Show me the money.
You know, Brian Cashman was talking today about how well the deal has worked out with Texas. Rangers obviously ecstatic with what they have with Soriano, and so are the New York Yankees.
Here's Posada getting a walk with 2 down. That'll bring up Matsui. Let's get an update now with Trey Wingo.
All right, John Lamso brings you this update. For the 198th time in his career, Randy Johnson with double-digit strikeouts, 14 on the day, but it couldn't help the Rockies as the D-backs lose their 14th straight. Was that his last start in Arizona? Back to you guys.
All right. I asked Brian Cashman the news on the trade front, and he said, but if the trading deadline was today, then the Yankees would not be making any trades. Matsui, right center. Damon on the run. 1 man left out of the last of the 3rd. Mirabelli coming up, 6-2 Red Sox. Fenway Park. And we are heading to the last half of the 3rd inning. The Red Sox with 2 in the first, 4 in the second. And they lead the Yankees 6-2. The Yanks jumped ahead with 2 of their own in the first inning. I'm John Miller with Rick Sutcliffe. Joe Morgan, my Hall of Fame partner, is at the Hall of Fame this weekend for induction weekend. And he'll rejoin us next Sunday night when we visit the beautiful home of the San Francisco Giants. On the shores of San Francisco Bay, we'll look at Tony La Russa's ball club, the Cardinals, against Barry Bonds and the Giants.
Joe, with 2 new buddies in that Hall of Fame now as far as former players. Congratulations as well to Dennis Eckersley and Paul Molitor.
There is Tony Clark, and he's got it right at the top step of the Red Sox dugout. And Mirabelli is out number 1 here in the 3rd. Contreras needs to settle in. You mentioned Ricky seems to have a lack of confidence against the Red Sox, and why not? I mean, he's never succeeded against them. But even though he's given up 6 in 2 innings here, if he could go another 4 innings or so, give that bullpen a little bit of a breather. And this Yankee ball club is well capable of getting right back into this game. That's got to be tough for a pitcher to have that mindset. Here is Kaeper, and that's a strike. It's 0-1.
To me, the biggest thing for him early in the game was he didn't have control of really anything. And for a starting pitcher, most of the time, John, that starts with adrenaline. I mean, you see the Red Sox there. You know how important it is for the Yankees to beat that team, and he just wasn't able to control anything early. This may be a blessing in disguise right here. He may learn something about himself and also about this lineup that, you know, you don't have to throw 98 miles an hour to get people out. Just look at the location, the mistakes you made there, and improve on it. Maybe you can get deeper into the ball game, and you know that the Yankees have the ability to come back.
Gabe Kaeper, the hitter, who ripped a single to left his first time as part of that 4-run second inning rally. It's a foul. Kaeper was one of those who got ejected yesterday, and I think he was pretty astounded by that. Really? As he ended up sort of being hogtied by Tanyan Sturts. That was one of the highlights I saw in Baseball Tonight last night. That curveball chopped to third, and A-Rod throws him out. Clark just does get out of the way of that one. 2 men gone, and the bat will be Damon. But that's where Ortiz and Trot Nixon both got involved, trying to get Sturts off of Kaeper.
Back to the second inning there. There's Kaeper. Take a look at the location here, or should I say lack of it. Everything pretty much centered. Nothing on the corners. I mean, this is a free swinging team. This is a team that strikes out a lot. And to get strikes and to get out, you don't have to throw as many pitches in the strike zone as Contreras has been doing.
Johnny Damon, right up the middle, base hit. Damon has been on 3 times tonight. An infield hit, a 3-run homer, and now this single. And he's had 7 hits and 13 at-bats in this series.
It's a good sign for Ron Jackson, the hitting coach for Boston, when your leadoff guy is 3 for 3 and you're still in the 3rd inning, huh?
Pretty good coaching. Here is Mark Bellhorn, who has walked and scored a run, and he followed Damon's home run in the 2nd inning with a long home run of his own back into the Yankees bullpen. Damon back to the back. All right, now this seems to me this is a stolen base waiting to happen. Contreras not that adept at holding runners on. Damon, a guy who can steal a bag. He got 12 steals for the year. 2 down. It's just the right time for him to go. Just back in time now. Slide by Johnny Damon.
You have to trust the guy with the bat in his hand here to steal a base. You know that if it's a fastball, it's going to get to home plate in a hurry. And Posada will have a chance to throw Damon out. If it's a fastball, Bellhorn has to protect him by swinging. Anything off speed, Damon should be able to do it on his own.
That was almost like a pitch out, that pitch.
That was one thing back with the Cubs that a lot of us, Dennis Eckersley, when he pitched there with Jody Davis, you would listen for the first baseman. And if you called a fastball away and he hollered right away, there he goes, you could kind of leave it out like Contreras did there and really turn what wasn't a pitch out into one that looked like one. And the guy that loved that was Don Zimmer, because he was managing this back and made him look real smart. I mean, like he was never wrong.
Zim called the pitch out at just the right time again.
He's incredible. Miss Zim around here, don't you, in the series here? Maybe Pedro Martinez doesn't, but I mean,
I saw Zim in St. Petersburg, Florida. That's a foul. Now it is 2 balls and a strike to Mark Bellhorn. David Ortiz would be next. Joe Torre's former bench coach, Don Zimmer. They've been together all those years ever since Torre became the manager of the Yankees. And Zim left in a huff. And now is an instructor, a consultant to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
A lot of changes on that coaching staff for Joe Torre. Don Mattingly, Louis Soho, Roy White.
Damon is running, and the ball is lifted along the left field line. A long run from Matsui. He gets there. And that ends the inning. Coming up now, Peter Gammons. And we'll have some talks about trade discussions, the trading deadline approaching. 6-2, the Red Sox lead the Yankees. Sunday Night Baseball from Fenway Park. Bernie Williams leading off against Derek Lowe. And Bernie takes 1 ball and no strikes. Bernie has gone 0 for 1 tonight. He flied out to left, and a beautiful catch made by Manny Ramirez in the doorway right along the left field line to end the first inning. Bernie, a career-long Yankee, and that misses inside again. 2 balls and no strike. Now, the trading deadline in Major League Baseball for trades to be consummated without players having passed through waivers first is next Saturday. And the man who always has his ear to the ground and forever is getting leads as to what kind of talks might be going on, are going on, things that might happen, is our own Peter Gammons of Baseball Tonight and also ESPN.com. His column every week at ESPN.com is must-reading. And Peter, you're down in your box seats right behind home plate.
Yeah, it's just where I always watch games.
All right, now, what have you got? Are there some big trades on the horizons? Are the Yankees about to make a big? Is the big unit headed for the Big Apple?
Well, I don't think so. I talked to the Diamondbacks people yesterday, and they're going to report to Jerry Colangelo today that their essential report is that the Yankees don't have anybody that could help in the major leagues within 3 years. And if you're going to trade Randy Johnson, you've got to get something that can help you. So they're basically saying we have 1 deal we might be able to make. I think that's with Anaheim. And otherwise, you know, that's they just going to say you're going to have to stay here in Arizona.
So you're thinking big unit, not in Yankee Stadium and not in Fenway.
No, not in Fenway either. He said all along that Boston is not a potential destination. And I was told by the people in the Arizona organization that essentially he said the only place he really wants to go if he's going to leave Arizona is New York.
All right, and as Tony Clark comes up, Bernie Williams back to the bag at first.
Peter, what about the next best pitcher we hear is available in Pittsburgh, Chris Benson?
Well, and as you know, the last 2 months he has been lights out, throwing the ball the way he did before he had surgery. I hear Minnesota, Philadelphia, Texas, the Mets, and I think that will happen. I think Dave Littlefield will take it right down to the end. I mean, people feel that he asked for a lot. Well, you know what? He's got the second best pitcher on the market. Why should he ask for a lot? Chris Benson's young. He can be signed, and he's very good. The Twins have the players. The question is, can they rearrange the money? There's been a lot of talk that Doug Mankiewicz could be traded, or the Red Sox have talked a lot about him. That would be to rearrange a little salary and also allow Justin Morneau to play.
Hey, we saw an item in the Boston Globe today that Derek Lowe could be traded. Lowe even himself saying he realizes that he could be traded, or several guys in this Red Sox clubhouse could be traded by the deadline. What do you think about Derek Lowe?
It's a possibility. I mean, they had talked a lot to the Cubs about trading Nomar Garciaparra there and then getting enough prospects to try to spin for either Randy Johnson or Kip Wells, but Kip Wells is simply not available. I don't think that's going to work with Nomar. And with Lowe, they'd have to find a comparable pitcher. The Phillies talked to him a little bit about Kevin Millwood, but the difference in salary makes him impossible to offer arbitration to. So the Red Sox decided, let's see if we can keep Lowe, at least get him back going again here, and see what happens in the next 2 days. The Mets have made several offers on Lowe, so that may not be dead.
The dribbler foul hit by Tony Clark. The count still 0-2.
Peter, normally this time of the year, you've got 10 or 15 big names that we're talking about that might be moving. Do you think it's the fact that so many teams are still so close right now as far as contention is concerned is the reason nobody's doing a whole lot?
Absolutely. I think that the problem is there are just too many teams that are close, and that's great. I mean, it's parity. It's what we really like to see as fans, but it's interesting. I've had 4 or 5 different general managers say to me they think there may be more trades in August on waivers than there are at the end of July, just because it's so hard to move. I mean, the Astros, a lot of talk about Beltran or Jeff Kent, but you know, they're only 5 back in the wild card. They're only 3 behind the Cubs. They've really started to play a lot better. Why would they trade those guys? They want to draw 3 million fans, and I don't blame them.
Now, Peter, I want to get back to the Randy Johnson thing. Today, Randy had 8 innings pitched against Colorado, 14 strikeouts, no walks, no runs,
no win.
You know,
and he did not get a win. They could not hold the lead for him in the 9th inning.
You can make the argument he's been the best pitcher, better than Jason Schmidt in the National League. He has been great, and I know it's really frustrating. He gets his 4,000th strikeout. What does he get? A 2-1 loss. But it's, you know, he has not pitched in September for a losing team since 1992. So I think the Diamondbacks are going to say, look, we'll bring back Finley. We'll bring back Sexton. We've got some pretty good young players here. Give us a chance to come back and contend in a division which isn't normally too strong.
All right, Clark has struck out. Enrique Wilson coming up now. I'm John Miller with Rick Sutcliffe. We're visiting with Peter Gammons of ESPN Baseball Tonight and ESPN.com. Now, Peter, the reason I bring that up about Randy Johnson, I mean, there's a lot of wins he's not getting right now. A lot of great pitching that's going for naught. As a double play ball has hit the bell horn. There's one. Nomar to first. Two. A double play. And the inning is over. And Peter, we got to run. Many thanks for all the info.
Can I get you a hot dog or anything?
Yes. Lots of mustard. All right. Thanks, Peter. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by McDonald's. We're at Fenway Park in Boston. I'm John Miller with Rick Sutcliffe, Joe Morgan at the Hall of Fame this weekend. And the Red Sox with some heavy offense early, leading the Yankees 6-2. The Democratic National Convention is going to begin tomorrow here in Boston. There's Tom Brokaw, the longtime anchorman of the NBC Nightly News, along with Katie Couric of the Today Show, and John Kerry, who's going to be nominated as the Democrats' nominee for the presidential campaign. Also here tonight, he's a native of Massachusetts. Grew up in Lowe, just a little ways outside of Boston. And David Ortiz, who could probably win an election for mayor here in Boston right now, if he chose to run, leads off against Jose Contreras. We had Peter Gammons with us, and Peter, if you don't mind, I know you'd like to just sit and watch the ball game, but I had started to ask you, with Randy Johnson pitching so well and getting so little in return for it, but as you say, he's said only one ball club would he agree to go to, because he has a no trade, and that would be the Yankees. I mean, why say that? I mean, it seems like he could be happy in a lot of places and get a lot more wins in a lot of other places.
We can't have you go there. I think there's a possibility he'll expand that list. I really do. Because it is terribly frustrating. And Randy Johnson knows so much about the history of the game. I mean, he understands, you know, all the different people who pitched in front of him. He goes back to Oklahoma to receive the Warren Spahn Award every year. You know, he understands. He's in the Hall of Fame already. But, you know, he wants to creep up closer to 300. And, you know, that's on his mind. And it is very frustrating. It's not as if he's 28 years old anymore.
Peter Gammons, you got your column will be in ESPN.com again tomorrow, the new one?
Yes, it will.
Okay. Check it out. Peter Gammons of Baseball Tonight at ESPN.com. And you can still read them on Sundays in the Boston Globe. There's a drive into right center. And over goes Sheffield. And Manny Ramirez is retired. That's a couple of deep fly balls into that part of the ballpark that Manny has hit. 2 down, nobody on. Here's Nomar Garciaparra. 6-2, the Red Sox lead the Yankees.
Seeing a little different Jose Contreras right now, huh? Than what we saw the first couple of innings out there trying to blow people away with the fastball. He's pitching right now, and he's having some success doing that.
And he's awfully important. Obviously, I mean, the Yankees, we're talking about getting a Randy Johnson, but as Brian Cashman said before the game, so, you know, we're hoping to get Brown back maybe as early as Friday. Maybe Mike Messina in the next week or two. And you add those two guys, and already, how much better are the Yankees than right today?
I think the Yankees, though, have to feel pretty comfortable where they're sitting right now. I think the biggest concern they would have is if Randy Johnson was able to put on that Red Sox uniform. I mean, you get Boston into the postseason, and you've got Pedro Schilling in the big unit. I don't care what kind of offense you've got. It's going to be difficult to score.
0-2 the count to Nomar. He's 1 for 2 in the game. And a fastball high and tight. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, Contreras himself is a Yankee. And part of the impetus of how that all happened was that the Red Sox badly wanted him. They had their own sort of nuclear arms buildup between the Yankees and Red Sox these last 2 winters. That's a foul ball. Right past Dale Swain, the third base coach.
Yeah, but if it comes down to money, Mr. Steinman is not going to lose.
Well, and he got Contreras. He did not lose on Contreras. And if he wants him, he gets him.
Well, he's got the cash, man.
Brian,
I'm sorry.
cash man.
I tried that the first time, and you didn't think it was real funny then.
I'm laughing very loudly inside. Enrique Wilson throws at Nomar Garciaparra. John Kerry, who is soon to be the official nominee of the Democratic Party for president, is going to visit with us when we return to Fenway Park. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Red Sox 6, Yankees 2, top of the 5th inning at Fenway Park. And the Democratic nominating convention will get underway here in Boston tomorrow. And Senator John Kerry is at the ballpark tonight. He'll be the nominee officially within a few days of the Democratic Party to run for president. And Senator Kerry, welcome to Sunday Night Baseball.
I am glad to be here. This is so much fun. We're doing great so far.
All right, now, I have to ask you, Game 7 last October, Red Sox Yankees, and a lot of Sox fans thought that Pedro should have already been out of the game. Where were you? I know you saw the game.
I was watching, but I wasn't at the game. And but boy, I was throwing stuff at that television set. I was screaming for him to be out of that game. Should have been out.
So you agreed with a lot of Sox fans then?
I thought Grady made a mistake. I really would have loved to have seen him out there.
All right, now what about this year?
Am I in trouble now, man?
Not with Sox fans.
No, I don't think so. I don't know.
I tell you where you can get in trouble, though, and that's cheering like you are right now. You're going to need your voice the rest of this week, I'll bet.
Well, I do, but this is fun. This is as good as it gets right now tonight. Fenway Park is in great shape. Got American flag draped out over the green monster when it came out earlier. It doesn't get better than a night like this. And this rivalry, obviously, is special to all of us.
Now, again, I know you've been all over the country, but as Kenny Lofton stands in, but yesterday there was some bad blood between the Red Sox and the Yankees.
I was in Columbus, Ohio last night when that took place, but that was a brawl. That was a brawl. Not the first one, and probably not the last.
All right, now, I mean, when you see that, do you immediately get upset with the Yankees, or I mean?
No, it's part of the game. It's part of the great rivalry, and you know, when you get a pitch like that and somebody's going to get upset, it happens. It's just the way it goes.
Now, Roger Clemens, a Red Sox,
yes.
then a Yankee. I mean, he's definitely headed into the Hall of Fame. He's in Houston Astro now.
Yeah,
Should he be a Red Sox in terms of going into the Hall of Fame?
Well, obviously we think so, but there are people, even divided opinions here on that. There are a lot of folks who were upset when he left, needless to say, and he's had a funny relationship here. I think most people here have enormous respect. The guy is pitching incredibly. He's done it for years and years now. He helped the Red Sox in unbelievable ways so many times. And you know, even when he came back here and he was pitching for the other folks, you know, you could hear that taunt in Fenway Park, Roger, and you know, there's been a great sort of rivalry respect with him. I think people would like him to be where his record was really built.
Now we want to, as Kenny Lofton grounds out to Kevin Millar, one away here. Derek Jeter coming up next. We want to get your opinion on some of these, you know, serious issues, such as the designated hitter rule. Good rule, or should we get rid of it?
Never liked it. Never liked it.
All right, now, should we keep it in just the American League like it is now, or should we just get rid of it altogether?
I personally, I don't like it. I've never liked the designated hitter rule.
Pete Rose, does he belong in the Hall of Fame?
Boy, I've been asked that in Ohio a whole bunch, and that's up to the writers, let me tell you. I think probably that's pretty difficult.
So you're going to defer a final decision on that one, at least for now. You'll leave that one with the writers.
I said it's pretty difficult. That's my judgment.
All right. Now, steroids in sports. There've been controversy in a lot of sports, but baseball, it's been a big controversy. And is that going to be part of your platform running for president?
Well, it's not the centerpiece of my platform. Obviously, I'm talking about jobs and health care and education and making America safe and doing a better job in the war on terror. But steroids are bad. I mean, they're wrong. I think any kind of drug enhancement, any kind of blood doping, any of that in sports, it defeats what sports are really all about. And, you know, I think we need to take steps to make sure that people aren't using those enhancements.
David Ortiz, could he be a part of your cabinet?
It depends what the commissioner decides in the next few days. I'm hoping he'll be right out here, and I'd love to welcome the World Series champion Red Sox to the White House when I have an opportunity to.
Yeah, David Ortiz has been suspended as Derek Jeter strikes out on that low sinker from Derek Lowe.
I like that. That was good. We should keep talking. Good things are happening.
You know, Derek Lowe may want you to follow him around every fifth day. Since that first inning, he's really settled down and pitched nicely.
Let me tell you, I was worried stiff in the beginning of that first inning. I said, oh, my God, if we don't do better than this, they'll think I jinxed this place.
Senator Kerry, the convention here in Boston, and this is the first of the big nominating conventions held since September the 11th. And I mean, Boston is really unprecedented. Steps have been taken in terms of security.
Sure.
And your opinion on all of that? I mean,
we're going to be
is that the way it's going to be in the future now? I mean, for these kind of big events?
For certain kinds of events, obviously, we have to take precautions, but we're going to be just fine. This city is going to operate as if it were normal. People are going to have a wonderful time here. And I'm absolutely confident about the level of security. I don't think we have anything to worry about.
But now let's say that I was a tourist and wanted to come from out of town to Boston.
Come to Boston. I'm serious. Come to Boston. The city's open, and we're going to have a great look at this tonight. 110th sellout at Fenway Park. And people are having a great time.
Now, who do you know to get a seat like that at Fenway?
I was very lucky. Tonight, the owners, John Henry and Larry Lucchino, Tom Warner, and everybody were very nice and opened up their box to us, and we're very grateful to them for that.
That was off the wall in left field, and it's a double for Gary Sheffield. And Senator Kerry, we appreciate you coming on with us tonight, and we got the Red Sox and Yankees in Boston, the Democratic Convention in Boston, and we wish you all the best.
It's great to be with you. Thank you. Go Red Sox.
All right, Senator John Kerry. And he will soon officially be the nominee of the Democratic Party in the November elections. And again, thanks to him for coming on.
Baseball fan. Obviously a big Boston fan. Boston baseball fans, not big A-Rod fans, particularly after what happened yesterday.
Alex Rodriguez, an infield single and a ground out to short. Gary Sheffield after his double over at second base. And that is a called strike. Some people think Bill Miller would make a very good president here at Fenway anyway.
Well, that's somewhat equal time there, don't you think?
Two down, and Alex Rodriguez at the plate. So I was, you know, as a kid, I always wanted to be Walter Cronkite.
Yeah.
I mean, as a kid, I used to watch those conventions. But they used to show them all night. And Tom Brokaw, he also wanted to be Walter Cronkite, and he turned out to be Walter Cronkite. So Tom Brokaw here, he'll be covering the convention. Peter Jennings on ABC News. That's going to be a base hit. The slow roller, one of the problems for being a sinker baller. Sometimes guys hit little top rollers and they get hits on, and that's the second time for A-Rod tonight. Well, we talked about all of the security. They're expecting about 35,000 visitors to Boston this week for the convention, the most ambitious security operation ever mounted in New England at a cost of approximately $50 million. It's estimated that 3,000 local, state, and federal law enforcement officials will be here and are here.
How many? 3,000?
3,000. It's almost like your entourage.
Yeah. I'm just hoping to be able to get a cab in the morning to get to the airport. It's hard to move around this city. There is a lot of excitement here, though.
Now Jorge Posada, 2 men on, 2 men out. The Red Sox leading 6-2. And that's a fastball up and away. Posada, remember, had 30 home runs last year. 11 so far this year. Now, he's not having the same kind of a year he had a year ago. He matched Yogi Berra's club record for homers in a season. by a Yankee catcher. There's Yogi. I suppose Yogi's up in Cooperstown with Joe this weekend. That fastball in there for a strike. It was the 6th inning Friday when the Yankees made their move against Curt Schilling. Trailing 4-2 into the 6th, they scored 5 against Schilling to go ahead in that game.
You know, it was really a breakout year for Posada last year. He finished 3rd in the American League MVP, and manager Joe Torre said that he really thought he took charge more last year of the staff, and a conversation with Yogi Berra and also Ron Guidry, Joe Torre thought helped Jorge Posada in that direction.
Well, you know, he would have had my vote for the MVP in the American League. I would have gone Posada because I thought, I mean, A-Rod was deserving, but I thought being on a panic contending team as a catcher and putting up the numbers he did offensively, I thought that was the year for him to get that vote.
And he also put up big numbers against Boston, which you know how important that can be. Trying to do it again.
Backdoors him with a slider just off the outside. 2-2 the count.
I love it when an umpire does not let the crowd dictate the call. Clearly outside the K zone there. A good job on the part of Hunter Wendelstedt once again. He's having a pretty good night.
Ben Affleck, Sox fan, trying to root on. Derek Lowe is back to the bag at first. Is Alex Rodriguez. Rodriguez been doing a lot more base stealing with the Yankees this year than he had been doing with Texas. He has 19 steals and has only been caught twice.
Looking at that 40-40 again, huh?
Well, he's a clear shot for 30-30 anyway. Sheffield at third, Rodriguez at first. And there's Bill Miller. And the inning is over. Lowe has shut out the Yankees over the last 4 innings. 6-2 Boston. Sunday Night Baseball, Red Sox 6, Yankees 2 as we go to the last half of the 5th inning. Kevin Millar will lead off here for Boston. He's hit a 2-run single, and he's been hit by a pitch. He's had 8 hits in 10 at-bats in this weekend series. Jose Contreras still out there. And a check swing. Did he swing? No, says Mike Winters on the appeal. 1 ball and no strikes. By the way, Rick, as I understand it, the calls have been pouring into our booth here from all of the major networks. Wanted to know if I could, you know, be persuaded to leave Sunday Night Baseball to go to work in one of the news divisions as Millar hits one a mile. Headed for New Hampshire. Off the Coke bottle. 7-2 Red Sox. The 4th home run of the weekend for Millar.
Growing up, my dad told me not to play in the middle of the road. My first pitching coach told me not to throw a baseball in the middle of the plate either. And Contreras finding out the hard way tonight. That is the 3rd home run hit by the Boston Red Sox, but none further than that one.
Now Bill Miller. And that's ball 1 to Miller. Miller has grounded out twice in this one. He hit the home run against Mariano Rivera to win yesterday's ball. Actually, it was last night by the time he hit it. 1 ball, no strikes.
You know, they've been,
oh, that's a strike. I beg your pardon.
John looking for something all year long to get him going. And Kevin Millar saying before the game, he didn't know, but he said hopefully the brawl and the home run by Bill Miller yesterday was what they needed. Well, it sure seems like it. They have come out. They've played strong. Derek Lowe has gotten into the act. And Kevin Millar is such a big part of that team. He takes so much pressure off the superstars because the press, including us, absolutely love him. He's always got a quote. He's cowboying up. He's shaving his head. He's always doing something to keep it loose in that difficult, at times, clubhouse.
Strike 3 to Miller. 1 down.
We love the K zone because more times than not it tells the whole story. Look at the ball, belt high, outer half, open up, just a simple little stroke. You know, in this ballpark, you don't have to swing that hard.
And Senator Kerry high-fived him with Millar himself, just like he's on the team now. Doug Mirabelli, who had been hit by a pitch and scored a run and fouled out to first. And that slider down and away. But I think the networks, the news divisions, were noticing how I grilled him on some hard issue questions. Like, you know, how he feels about the DH. I mean, you see how I had a follow-up on that DH question, too.
Look at that. They're loving those questions. You're tough.
Yeah, I was all over him.
I figured the reason people were calling in was they were wanting to know where Joe Morgan was.
Yeah. We're both perhaps on our way out. And the big fireworks down. Now, if that, I don't know if that's part of the kickoff of the convention here or what, but all kinds of stuff going on in Boston. As the Red Sox and Yankees play the rubber match of this 3-game series. Doug Mirabelli in there. Jason Varitek hurt.
About 3 weeks late on that July 4th celebration.
That is foul. Past third. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count to Doug Mirabelli. Gabe Kaeper on deck. By the way, there's an interview with Senator Kerry in the current edition of ESPN, the magazine. So I know about 35,000 Democrats who are in town here would all probably like to get a copy of that this week while they're in for the convention. 2-2 the count. And down 3-2 to Mirabelli. 7-2, Boston ahead. The Yankees scored 2 runs in the first against Lowe, and really probably shouldn't have scored any. Lowe was victimized in that inning, and he has shut them down ever since. 7-2 the count, 3-2 the count, and that is the strikeout. So Mirabelli goes down. Contreras has struck out the last 2 hitters, following the home run by Millar. Now the Lowe's home team advantage for the Boston Red Sox. And here at Fenway, 32 wins, 18 losses, averaging more than 6 runs a game, hitting over 300 at home. And they're a much more normal offensive ball club when they're away from Fenway Park.
I think you'd agree with me, John. Fenway Park to a hitter is a lot like Dodger Stadium has always been to a pitcher. You look back at the career ERAs of Sandy Koufax and Drysdale and the Don Suttons, always significantly lower in that ballpark, and a lot of averages in this ballpark. Ted Williams, a year he hit over 400. Most of that damage came right here at Fenway.
406, 1941, and nobody's done it since. The Red Sox, by the way, and that was, since we're talking about how they hit much less effectively when they're outside of Fenway, they're going out of Fenway now for 2 weeks. Their longest road trip of the year starts after tonight's game. They're heading off for their journey to Baltimore, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, and Detroit. Right center field, Gary Sheffield. And that's the inning. Kepler retired. Home run by Millar makes it 7-2 Boston. On to the 6th. Matsui, then Bernie Williams.